Nice place. You don't care much about these fascists, do you?
So for some reason, these game companies fail to understand that you should probably check who you're hiring, especially when it comes to something as major as Charlie's death and all the criticism that's been going on in Twitter and also Facebook, Instagram, basically any social media platform, and how they have been honestly celebrating his death and death to fascists. Even though Charlie was probably the most moderate person that I know from the right when it comes to talking about anything in general, especially when it comes to hearing and viewing the younger generation and their opposing worldview. Apparently, you can just celebrate somebody for speaking on whatever topic they deem a threat. And I can't believe that game studios have yet to understand this, but you know, you got to give credit to where credit is due. Bethesda is being stupid again. I haven't seen them be relevant since Skyrim. And honestly, the only time I ever see them be relevant anymore is talking about how they haven't made a good game since Skyrim. Um, for some reason, these companies are so out of touch that it honestly blows my mind. Almost as out of touch as I don't know why I did this, but I went back on Facebook just to see the atmosphere and people that I grew up with and them celebrating the death of a decently moderate family man who wanted to talk about things that he seemed and deemed justifiable, especially when it comes to the political environment as we grow older, how things have been transitioning, how funny enough, I was a Democrat at one point, and it didn't become, switching over to the right side and actually voting for a Republican for the first time ever this last cycle, where we got Trump in office again after that short-term break and terrible, terrible time with Biden and all the illegals. I had voted specifically when it came to politics. I had voted for my specific reasons. Again, way back when I was a Democrat because, well, Democrats were sane and normal, and we thought that the right were evil and vicious people. Seems weird to me that the party switched side, or at least their ideals switched side. Granted, you still have extremists on both ends. I'm always going to say this, that the left and the right, they're not out for you. They're not for you. They're going to be for themselves. Anyone who's watched George Carlin will understand. And if you haven't, please watch George Carlin. It's a small group and you're not part of it. These people aren't for you. These people aren't going to deem your life any type of inherently good or bad. You are like an ant to these people. That being said, the reason why Charlie's death matters so much is because he understood that, and he understood that that's how the federal government was pretty much based off of most people's minds, especially the younger generation. That's why he would go on these college campuses. That's why he would try to understand and figure out their specific dogma that they have, well, political dogma that they have, and why they have these ideologies that they do. Why did colleges start going rampant when it came to all the increased tuition? Semesters were going through the roof, $30,000, $40,000 a semester. You had to pay for the books that cost hundreds of dollars. Then you had to take a test, and that test had a key, and that key cost money. You couldn't do it online without that specific key. That specific key you need. It was almost as bad as actually these game companies when it comes to microcurrencies with colleges and how they've been going about that when it comes to that scam. That's why if you look at the trade market right now, that's an increase of 37% year over year. And that's why most males are leaving college. And that's why I think tuition continues to increase, because it's just getting a majority of people that they know that eventually it's going to suffer. That being said, when it comes to Bethesda, and sorry for that long rant, there's a lot on my mind now, especially after just getting the gym and seeing all the shit that's been going on. I can't get off of social media. I've been wanting to make a Night Rain video. I've been wanting to make the Code Vein trophy video. I've been wanting to make a lot of videos, but it seems like now I have to constantly put my attention towards all this political affiliation shit like that, if not for myself, but also for you guys. And then also for Roman when he grows up and he understands where his father is coming from. And then honestly, where the good people are and why we view the things that we view. Quotes being taken out of context, not the full quote, bunch of fallacies going on, equivalence fallacies. If you guys don't understand fallacies, if you don't understand conversations, if you don't understand how to have a political debate and actually come to some form of agreement, and even if you don't agree, you aren't going to wish the death of the opposing person because you couldn't win the argument. A lot of these things affect us as people in general, especially with social media. And if you don't think that social media isn't making money off of this, you're an idiot. The federal government is making money off of you. The federal government is going to be making money off of me. Social media is making money off of me. Social media is making money off of you. And anything to when it comes to engagement. So I want you to understand that I won't justify political violence. I won't advocate for political violence. What I will advocate is if these people, if these companies, if these studios want to continue to inherently discuss this in a way to where it's going to only idolize their political beliefs and, wish death upon another, or even say Charlie Kirk's death and death to fascists, as people will say. What I will advocate for is pretty much ruining their wallet. These companies only listen to one thing, and that's you, the people, in not buying their games, in not buying their future games, in making sure that the studios understand that there is not going to be any form of, how do I say, you want to make sure that these studios are going to understand that no matter what they do and feel, especially when it comes to their political movement, that can be changed, and it will be changed based off of what people, as us, the consumers, will choose to spend their money on. Sorry about that. I heard my wife and son come in. But yeah, basically what I can advocate for is making sure that you spend your money on other studios. Make sure that if you see anything remotely close to them trying to politicize their game studio to be in at least inherently evil, I don't understand how somebody could wish for the death of another person, and then as soon as they die, they celebrate it and talk about it and post it on their video games, make posts about it, and then try to get rid of it. I don't see how that can be misconstrued as evil. If you're watching this and you want to do anything about it, don't spend your money. Think of the company, understand that it's been going downhill since. At one point, it was, I think, around almost $11 billion worth, and I think it got sold for $7 billion. Not cheap, still $1 billion, still fucking more money than I probably will ever see in my entire lifetime. But going downhill, it's not... I can't really think of a better word other than that. I don't want to say dog shit, but it's a company that is going to be going downhill. It's going to be publicized. It's going to be in people's mouths for a while, unless something crazy else happens. And then that will eventually be a way to hopefully use something as a scapegoat. So that way they figure out a different way to twist and spin the narrative of why they posted what they posted. It seems like anything that happens now, you just basically have to wait for a new news cycle to come out, and then eventually something does. If it's not the Epstein files and Trump not releasing them, then it's Charlie Kirk's death. If it's not Charlie Kirk's death, then it's a school shooters. If it's not the school shooters, it's something else. There's so much going on right now where it feels like I want to play games, but if I don't make a video on this, I feel like I'm going to be going brain dead. I feel like for some reason, whatever is in me, I feel like inherently, especially with the growing audience. Again, thank you guys so much for everything and the support. And we finally got partnered and all this other good stuff, but I feel like I need to at least say this for whoever's watching to understand at least my political beliefs. I am basically on the political belief of 2005, maybe early 2005's Democrat, which now seems to be swayed to the Republican side. I don't agree with whatever Trump says. I'm not going to be thinking that he's going to be God. I don't think Charlie Kirk was Jesus. There's a lot of things that I don't agree with, or I think that we have opposing views. I'm in the party of leave people alone. If they want to do whatever they want to do, that's great. Don't bring it onto the kids. Don't bring your opposing views onto me. And then everything will be fine. We can all be kumbaya, but it's not until people start throwing out these words like fascism and Nazi and all this other stuff to where it becomes so politically motivated to actually do harm that I have to speak and I have to do something. I'm almost 30 years old. And then I don't know if it's because I'm entering my 30s and it's a new chapter in my life, but I feel like I need to be more outspoken because at the end of the day, if we're not, it seems like there's no hope. And I don't want to live in a world with that. I don't want my son growing in a world like that. I feel like at the end of the day, we should be at least hopeful for the next day. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. I don't know why Bethesda decided to do this. Dumb move. Terrible PR. Yeah, fix your shit. I don't know. That's all I had to say.